Well, hello, and welcome to Stop Let's Team Up, My Legion Adventure, episode 84. And I have a guest, and it is, imagine that, Kirby. Thank you, Kirby. But this was the only way I could get this damn episode done, because I've been putting it on, because I didn't want to do it by myself, because not of disinterest in what I read. One, I had to admit that I forgot to do issue 99. Which is really stupid because there is something quasi-important in it.
Yep.
And the next one is, and I didn't realize that the next one was the one this is.
Yep.
I was just going to do the 199, which has two stories in it, which is cool.
Mm-hmm.
But there's something important about 203 for a couple of important things. So what we're going to get started. So the first one we're doing is Superboy 199, even though it says Superboy starring the Legion of Superheroes. Well, we were talking about that just a second ago too. As I flip back to it, I had to. This is these issues are not on the app, and I pay extra because I'm on Ultra. It's ridiculous. We're complaining about this stuff has been reprinted in a couple different places. Well, first I have to do Mike's Amazing World. Hold on, let me put Mike's for 199. Oh, no, that's 203. There we go.
Yep, Ross, while you're looking at, I'm always happy to be the ace up your sleeve for whenever you want to talk random comics.
Yeah. Well, I think to motivate for Legion, I'm going to have guests because some of these. We're in an era where I think the art is beautiful and there are some great stories, but there are also some, I think, ones that don't land as well in 2024 as they did in 1970, whatever this was. So let's start with Superboy 199. It's Superboy 199. It was published on August 28th, 1973. So I'm just really starting to read comics. I mean, 197 that's really the first one I ever remember being in my hot little hands. Frequency monthly, except for May, March, August, and December. So it was 8 times a year. That's weird. There were some weird ones. Editor Murray Boltinoff, that would explain some of the weird stuff in them. There are 2 stories in this. The first one is The Gun That Mastered Men. This is one of the last Cockrum issues. This one is a 13-pager. It is written by Cary Bates, art by Dave Cockrum. No inkers or anything. I'm not on the fandom wiki. I'm looking at it, and he's inking himself.
It really looks like that. I mean...
Yeah. This has only been reprinted twice?
Yeah, and look, folks, I'll say again, I'm glad I just kind of get the single issues, just so I know I got it.
Yeah, it's really, I've said it. I've got all 13 archives. And the next 4 hardcovers, and I've got the deluxe edition of Great Darkness and the Curse. So I go up to the end of the Curse, and then there's nothing because they've not reprinted it between that and the Baxter. And of the Baxter stuff, they've just done the first, 15 issues in 2 hardcovers.
Let's not even get started. Russ, here's a question. The cover, I think that's Cockrum pencils, but that does not. Is that Cardi inking him?
I think it's supposed to be. Yeah, I don't know if that is the DEC is his initials.
Okay.
Or that, but it looks like Cardi did a pass on the inks.
Okay. I mean, don't get me wrong. I still have always loved this cover with just the really cool perspective, the top down as Superboy's blasting Brainiac 5 in the chest with the handgun or the gun that mastered men. Yeah.
So this is a sequel to 197.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's where Tyr with the gun. There is no. Let's go through the roll call. It's Chameleon Boy, Brainiac 5, Starboy. Woohoo! He has a little white star on the breast of his costume, and they get rid of that very quickly. Thank God, because he has a field of stars on his chest. Mm-hmm. Why do you need that star? Superboy, Dream Girl, Princess Projecta, and this is Tyr. Oh man, he does not reappear until Legion of Superheroes number 2.
Oh yeah.
Well, but wait a minute. No, he's in Superpower. Is he not in the Superpower series? Because he's the only one he's one of the few villains that was in the Superpower original action figures.
I've got that Jack Kirby trade. I would have to run to the other room and look.
No, I don't. But you know what I'm talking about. He had a toy.
Yeah.
He had a toy before any other Legionnaire had a toy.
I mean, granted, it's because he looks dope as hell, but
yeah, it's a great design. I mean, again, it's another Cockrum because you can tell he likes a space mohawk.
Uh-oh. You there?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah.
Sorry about that.
No, that's no problem. But Tyr has a patented Dave Cockrum space mohawk. You'll see it later on Gladiator and other places.
Oh yeah.
So this plot is basically Tyr's gun has been waiting in orbit. He puts a force shield around the tower, and then all hell breaks loose. And the gun is trying to free its master. And then it has a patented John auto binder John Forte kind of thing at the end.
It does, but
it works better. I'm just teasing it, but it does. So.
So Superboy, after they've arrested Tyr, is ready to kind of go back to the past, but Princess Projectra reaches out. Dream Girl has a vision, or is hearing the Z alarm. Our headquarters is under attack. To our battle stations, Nura. And Brainiac 5's at the command chair as the five of them are. I can't I guess it's them realizing they're trapped in their own headquarters.
Yeah. They're just basically Brainiac goes. Our citadel is buttoned up. We're locked in, cut off from the outside world. But where are the other members? Gone. While you three were seeing off Superboy, everybody else was left Mon-El for an emergency mission on his home world planet of Daxam. So, that's the thing I like about Legion. You get a different lineup every issue, and it makes sense. You're not going, where did everybody go?
Right.
They're all on other missions. They think they use ray guns to try to get it. Starboy didn't even use his powers.
That was something I noticed. He is easily the least effective member in this storyline because all he does is use this gigantic gun that he has to strap to his chest and hips to try and break out.
This is is this the first time this costume's showed up? No.
Ooh. It's got to be from this era, after it's become the Superboy
I'd have to go
backups.
back and see the last time it appeared. I think people just didn't use him properly. A lot of them didn't use him properly.
No.
I think, and it was weird. It's I'm doing the reading, folks, and once Chemical King is introduced and joins, he's in it a lot because Shooter created him, so he's in it. And Starboy just is not. A lot of the older heroes aren't being used, and I can't see one where. Except maybe in 200, where this may be the first time. This is the first time with this costume.
Oh, okay. Well, guess what? Dave Cockrum, surprise, surprise, he designed a great costume.
Yeah, that never happens. But yeah, I don't get it. He's not using it. Superboy, he catches on. He's doing that weird spinning. You could fly really fast and spin in a circle, and you go through time. I know I do is just go through lunch as it comes back. I mean, and he's,
I really like Cockrum's Superboy just because he looks young. He does not look like just a shrunken down Superman.
And I think that's the same with his Legionnaires. They still look like kids. They're still young adults.
Yeah, they're like 18, 19 here.
Yeah, because we're going to switch to Grell, who's a master, but I think Grell makes him he ages him up a bit.
He does. Before we go on page 7, second panel, we're seeing Superboy come up to Tyr's gun in space. And I am always a sucker for things that should reflect light, do reflect light. And as the gun's firing, you see the reflection of it on the gun itself as it's firing to the Legion headquarters.
I love it, man. That's way you see the star field in it in panel 1.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the next one is Vavoom, a sound effect where the panel is shattered, but you don't see what it is. And then we get to Starboy. Nura's having one of her premonitions that. I would have loved them to have thought of this when she was at his. I'm also predicting the mood. Why she's such a good fighter? Well, I can see every move before you throw it. I think that would have been a more precognitive thing, and then just bigger things she has to be asleep for.
Yeah, thank God they didn't make her a narcoleptic every time she had a vision.
Yeah.
And
And see, okay, here's another one. So they know Tyr is walking around. They're looking for somebody, an intruder. And we see Tyr, one, dude, when you're going through the air ducts, don't stand on the grate. They see him, but still, they notice it. And instead of Starboy making him weigh 2,000 pounds, fall through the floor and pin him to the ground, they zap it with a... And they just pick him up. Starboy never uses any of his powers.
I know, and I forgot in my head when I was reading this story, I'm like, oh right, or Starboy crush. It does exactly what you said, and it's like I had to reread it a couple of times. I'm like, wait, that's not what happens.
Yeah, it's so ridiculous. And then Starboy comes back by, and they get him in, and he's got the gun on his hand. And he disintegrates. He fights it. He doesn't want to do it, and he disintegrates his team members.
There is one thing I do want to interject. Is Princess Projectra is absolutely one of my favorite characters, but she has this. I don't think she's written that well in this issue, where it's like, what chance do we have, Brainy? Starboy can make objects super heavy. Cam can change his looks at will. I can project fantastically real illusions. So what? None of our abilities can get us out of this. Let's face it, we're the weakest members. No, you're not.
That's Carrie Bates writing. I'm not the big. I like him when I like him, and I dislike him more often than I like him. Because he's writing for a different audience. He never really is writing for me. As a kid, this was great, but as an adult, I do. It's like Projectra is badass. Levitz really, I think Conway writes her better too.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people write her better. I think Shooter writes her better. Shooter created her. She was a princess. She wasn't afraid of squat.
Yep. And like I said, I like Carrie Bates a lot. This is just an instance of where it's like, that doesn't work for me.
Yeah. But so they look like they're disintegrating. Tyr all of a sudden has a kryptonite glove. Where was it laying around? It's not locked up someplace safe. And he gets the gun.
Or Superboy gets the gun.
No, the gun falls off once. Yeah. The glove. Oh no, that's right. Because this isn't Tyr. Duh. Chameleon Boy. Because it's Chameleon Boy in disguise, and he tricks the gun. That he's not really Tyr. This has all been a setup. Imagine that, like a late 50s super. And Projector used an illusion. Still, nowhere in the story does Starboy use his powers.
Nope, but every other team member uses their powers to good effect. So you know what? I'll take it.
Yeah. So I like it. It's beautiful.
Oh God, yeah.
It's gorgeous. It's just one of those ones where I get, I am now 50 some years older than the audience this was written for.
Yeah.
So, but the next one, I think this is a much better story. The Impossible Target.
Look, it's Dave Cockrum and Carrie Bates drawing the greatest Bouncing Boys story of all time. So I'm gonna love it.
It's a 7-pager. It's Bates Cockrum again. It's only been reprinted twice. Legion Superhero Archives 10 hardcover and Showcase present. Well, no, that's not true because this is probably. Do the Omnis go this? No. No. The Omnis don't go this far.
The DC Finest just collected this issue again.
Okay, so that's 3. But it's a Bouncing Boy story.
Yeah, and again, favorite character 1A. So I
got you. Oh, I'm wearing a shirt from Redbubble that has that I got years ago, and it's one of those ones where it's just them in colors, but it's got Shrinking Violet, Sunboy, Bouncing Boy, Mon-El, Matter Eater Lad, and Element Lad. So it's got my favorite, your favorite, and Jimbo's favorite.
Nice.
So I'm wearing it, but it's cold as shit in my apartment, or was when I first started. So I'm wearing a hoodie. But it starts with another great spaceship drawn by. One, it's got Chuck in. Give Chuck's introduction.
Greetings, readers. This is Chuck Tane, better known to all of you as Bouncing Boy. Although the Legion usually operates as a team, all of us Legionnaires have had solo adventures from time to time. Let me tell you about one of my closest brushes with death, when the only way I could save my life was to make myself the impossible target.
It's so good. It is so good. So it starts with him in the bottom panel being chased in this kick-ass. It's Legion. It's L5 Omega is the shuttle number. I like that. Is that early Interlac? Because who creates Interlac? Giffen creates Interlac.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's Giffen or Levitt, or Levitz. Maybe it was both of them.
Both of them sitting there being nerdy. And geniuses all. That's the one thing I miss, that I don't have the letter pages from that era, because that'll show. One of the issues has the listing of all the Legion leaders in order.
Oh, I'll find. It's
in the early. It's start with the stuff that is in the Great Darkness Saga, and it is in the letter page.
Okay, I'll try and find that and send it to you after we record.
Because every place I look for that, because we're gonna do, folks, me and Kirby have already started talking about. We're going to do a Legion roll call. I have not done a Legion roll call episode, and we're going to do original Legion up to 5 years later. So we also need to know who the leaders are, and I need those. And I voted in a couple. I voted in the last 3 they did. Always for Element Lad. What I like about those is some of them you can find it out. And Element Lad was coming in like 3rd for years. Huh. That's So he was always popular. I think it's the girl fans liked him. He was my favorite, but he became my favorite. He became my favorite later, because he wasn't always written well. I mean, this is where I start really the characters start getting in this era and the next era. The characters start getting what we know of their modern personalities.
Right.
So, but yeah, he's flying. He's being chased by a meteorite storm, and they're doing weird things.
He gets trapped in the Tholian web.
Yeah, thank you. I was going to say it, but you beat me to it.
Yeah.
And he crashes, or he doesn't crash. He lands on this planet.
Also a trapdoor, because superheroes don't look for trapdoors.
But luckily he bounces, and his ship is shrunk down. And falls, and then he meets somebody who does look for. I remembered it because I'd seen the reprint, but he meets. He's the son of Otto Orion, who was in Adventure Comics 358. It was actually a really good story. I like that one. I think I remember liking that one.
I'd have to go back and read it.
But it's basically it's basically
Dime Store Craven, the hunter.
No. It's more like the most dangerous game.
Okay. Sorry, I was calling this his son Craven.
No, Craven exists. Yeah, his costume is more Craveny. He does have 2 pixie girl ponytails.
That would okay. We gotta talk. Like, that's the thing I think kills this design. I mean, Cochran, to me, he would definitely just start drawing this character, and he was waiting like, okay, when's someone gonna tell me to stop? Because not only does he have the big pigtails, he's got a giant handlebar red mustache, an eye patch.
He's got belt cartridges around his arm.
Cheetah.
You would put 2 more pockets and a belt on it, and you would have think Rob Liefeld designed it.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Except everybody here's got ankles. But basically this is what I don't get. Why was he just looking for any Legionnaire? Or was he looking for Bouncing Boy?
I think he specifically says like he wants to start. I can't remember which page it's on. Okay, here it is. I won't repeat this is on page 6, so I'm jumping ahead a little bit. I won't repeat my father's mistake. He tried to hunt the Legion all at once. I decided to slay members one by one. And that's why I started with you, Bouncing Boy. You, the weakest, sorriest, most slow-witted Legionnaire of them all.
Yeah.
I'm working my way up from the very bottom, tackling you.
Yeah, he says that on page, and within 5 panels, he's lost. But he has an inflatable Bouncing Boy toy. He blows that up to show Bouncing Boy. He drops Bouncing Boy. I will say, he's got this cool like rocket chair.
How did Superpowers not adapt that as a toy? Like, that's Kenner could absolutely have made that.
I think he would actually. It's like my Hawkeye and the Sky Cycle can't sit down.
Oh god! Oh, I have tried.
It's impossible. It's impossible. But that would have been a great toy. But basically, this is a very short story. And Cockrum in one panel, top of page 6, shows it's a great way to show all the progression, how long he's been running. And then you see the last bit, you see his little, his speech. He captures Bouncing Boy, he's hovering.
And then Just as I hoped, this is Bouncing Boy, just as I hoped, my ice-cold water left me with a cold, choo! And then the best, absolute best in 60-plus years of Legion continuity, the best depiction of Bouncing Boy's power, as he rockets back into one of the cave walls multiple times before tackling the hunter.
Yeah,
a well-calculated ricochet knocks him off his feet before he knows what hits him.
Yeah, it's exactly. So I love it. I think it's great. Hold on, but I'm just checking ahead to make sure I didn't miss anything. Yeah, no, because the next one is 200, so he loses his powers at some point.
Yeah, so there's a good in-between mystery between 199 and 200. And, folks, here's where you pause the episode. You go back, listen to the episodes where we did 200 and 201 and 202, and then come back as we tackle the next issue.
Yeah, 202, yes, because I forgot. We finished all the Cockrum stuff. And I will say that Grell's first thing is inking a Cockrum story.
Yep.
Which I forgot how beautiful that was. So I'm going to go to Archive Volume 11 because it's the first one. And this is the first Mike Grell. And Mike Grell's on this book for a lot longer than I remembered.
Yep. He does covers even longer.
Well, yeah. I'm looking forward to those Warlords when they come out. Those Omnis. So we're going to do this. This is Superboy 203. Cover date July/August 1974. April 23rd, 1974. It's bi-monthly now, okay? It's called Massacre by Remote Control. It's a 22-pager. Cary Bates writer, Mike Grell pencils and inks. And again, only reprinted twice, maybe now 3 times. Legion of Superheroes Archive 11. And Showcase presents Legion Superheroes Volume 5, black and white. Is this in one of the... No, none of the Grell is in any of the Omnis.
No. This is the last issue of that new DC Finest.
Okay, so it's in the DC Finest. Okay, that's right. We talked about it. The roll call: Brainiac 5, Dream Girl, Element Lad, yay! Invisible Kid, Karate Kid, Lightning Lad, Mon-El, Phantom Girl, Saturn Girl, Sunboy, Superboy. And the villains are Tharok. How would you pronounce that?
I always said Tharok.
Tharok? Okay, Tharok and Valdis. I have a Valdis leg. I ordered a Starman action figure, a new Ted Knight, and it had Valdis's right leg in it.
Nice. I always say Validus.
Validus?
Yeah.
Validus? Okay, Validus. That's probably right. I'm probably just lazy.
No. These are all weird, made-up space names.
Yeah. So there's no synopsis. Basically, the Legionnaire run a test to see if someone can get infiltrate the headquarters, and
it's a really good sequence as 4 people in completely black suits, but with all Roman numerals 1 through 4, infiltrate and make really good uses of their powers to give you hints as to their identities.
Well, let's talk about we skipped the cover. And I hate to say that. It's a beautiful Nick Cardy cover of Mon-El, Invisible Kid, Saturn Girl, and Superboy looking at something in a remote control, and Validus behind them. And it's when they had the big banner, Superboy starring the Legion. I love that. And it said line of DC superstars, and I like that logo. Not as good as the Bullet one.
Nope.
And it has a splash page, which is later in the story, kind of splash page. And it's Mike Grell was eye-opening. I mean, I remember I missed Cockrum. I said, what happened to the other guy? My brother went. He probably just left. And what about this guy? And I was like, wow.
Grell is absolutely one of my favorite artists of all time. And the fact we share a birthday is always just one of those, oh, that's so cool moments for me.
But this one's has got invisible. The panel has Mon-El going, Superboy's going, it's true, Legionnaires. The evil force commanding that Hulk to attack us is right here. It was under our nose all along. Yes, it wasn't the Mon-El. Yes, it wasn't that monster, but this box that has been our real foe. And then Phantom Girl goes, gasp! I never saw anything like it. And Invisible Boy is looking over his shoulder.
Why did they give Validus nose and lips? It bugs me so much.
Yeah, it really looks out of place. I don't think Grell knew what is it on the Cardi one too?
Yeah, it's definitely on the Cardi cover.
Oh my goodness, that's silly. Yeah. That's. Oh, it's basically the same image. I don't. It looks almost identical. But you see the 4 people coming in, and they go right into the story. You don't know what's going on. They do different things to get into. This should give a hint. I've read it, and I've forgotten about this. That when we got to the thing, I hadn't read this in a long, long time. Oh, so they find a way to tunnel in. One of the people turns part of the wall into sand. They're all kind of climbing. One of them is caught by Sunboy, who uses light to blind them. 3 and 4 are captured by Mon-El, who stretches his cape around them like it was saran wrap.
Look, that's just a Carrie Bates thing he does with Superman's cape. I find it charming. But
no, I don't mind it when he does it with Superman's cape. I do. I think Carrie Bates is just generic Superman stuff. I enjoy a great deal. I just think sometimes other stuff is,
sure. And then number 2 crashes into the Legion Museum, where a very prominent statue of Pharaoh Lad is.
Yes, he does. And he presses something, and then an infrared light goes off through everywhere. And as Superboy flies into the room, you're too late, Superboy. You know what that infrared effect meant? It meant I won, and the Legion loses. And he pulls up the mask. It's Element Lad. And Superboy's, you're right, Jan. If this practice drill had been for real, a real intruder would have detonated a bomb instead of a harmless infrared cocoon. And so basically it was Karate Kid, Phantom Girl, and Element Lad all sneaking in.
And again, they did, the Bates and Grell did great to showcase all the power. Well, maybe not Phantom Girls, but everyone else's powers, to give you a hint.
Yeah, I think, you got it. And then Superboy, they're going, well, wait a minute. Wasn't someone supposed to be, Mon-El goes, wasn't someone supposed to be in this room guarding it? Nobody was on duty when I broke in. The museum was empty. Not necessarily. This Legionnaire standing watch could easily watch. Standing watch could be easily to miss. Wow, I think that's a bad grammar, because he was Invisible Kid, but he's not there. And then you hear a moan by the components of Robot Thayrock's electronic brain, and he passes out. And there he is, Lyle Norg, the original Invisible Kid.
In one of the few, I feel brown and green superhero costumes you'll ever see.
It's a really good costume.
It is.
It is. I like it. I like Lyle. I liked him. I definitely liked when Shooter wrote him in the early, when Shooter first took over, and he was leader. Mm-hmm. I mean, he was a great Legion leader.
Yeah. I like Lyle a lot, during Reboot. It's just, I came in with Jacques as Invisible Kid, so he's always one of the honored dead.
Yeah, but I think even, I think they really were good to play a lot of legacy to Lyle.
Yeah,
Lyle, even Levitz did, because Jacques met him, or met at that alien presence, because Levitz, I take it, does not like the story, because he rewrites it.
Oh, I'll have to remember, yeah, when we get there.
You know which one I'm talking about, where Invisible Kid gets stuck in the alternate thing, and he thinks he's talking to Lyle. And
yeah. It's starting to, yeah.
So basically,
there's some problems with this story that we'll get into.
Yeah, there's some it's creepy. They read his brain, and he falls in love with this ethereal woman, and they're reading his mind.
Mon-El is pointing at the screen. And it's like, the screen. What's happening to it? Brainiac 5. Great sons! I don't dare look! Oh, God, how filthy was Lyle's dreams there.
Yeah, what was he doing in his dream? And it's like, oh, Mila. And then he goes, then you know about Mila. He's upset. He's like, they don't know what's going on. And then, this thing is, Mon-El goes, can you explain what wrecked the Mento screen? What, it's a Mento dispenser? I want a Mento dispenser in my house. Oh, Mento is in brain. Any ideas, Brainiac? Lyle did it, but not intentionally. I have a theory that the girl in the invisible world told him something so nerve-shattering, so startling, that it sent him to sudden shock. A shock so severe his brain jolted the scanner with overload. We'll skip what Mon-El says, but Brainiac goes, I'm afraid he doesn't remember whatever Mila told him Whatever Mila told him was too much for him to handle, and his mind blanked out her words. It's called hysterical amnesia. And so then Phantom Girl's. I like this. Phantom Girl and have a conversation about powers because what he was doing was more like she does, which is patch. She passes through things, but she's also passing through realities, different.
Mm-hmm.
So how can you see this other world when you're invisible in ours? Simple, Phantom Girl. I'll demonstrate with this pen. I'm holding it in front of you. I want you to focus on it. I see what I mean? Your eyes concentrate on the pen, and the rest of it is out of focus. Now, when your eyes focus on me, the pen. So basically, it's a dimension of force perspective.
Yeah, which I'm fine with. And they had this discussion in front of the Pharaoh lad statue.
Hint, hint.
Hey, foreshadowing is your key to quality literature.
Well, I think you're right, because what happens at the end of this probably was a shock to everybody, because you didn't have news about what was coming next.
Nope.
It went into every comic blind. So again, we saw the components from Thorak's brain. They're all glowing. It's setting up this it's thing zapping around, and he tells him, Mon-El's penalty forbids me from becoming invisible for a week, but after that, I'm visiting her around to persuade her to come into our world as my wife. All right, and then Dream Girl has a dream about Validus.
And she's back in Dave Cockrum's slinky lingerie for her.
Yeah, my God. And then Saturn Girl shows up in the inappropriate bikini costume.
Yep.
It's still a great costume. It was her costume for decades.
Up until Great
Darkness, it doesn't make sense,
right? No, it doesn't.
Oh, yeah, none of them. It's just like, why are the girls fighting half naked and the guys are fully covered?
I know.
It's ridiculous. But, so they go looking. Superboy goes to the prison, and Thorak's still in there, and they're playing with his robot brain.
To, keep him alive. And again, Grell does great detail for the inside of his skull. It looks really cool.
Yeah, it does. And what it is they're looking for Validus is in the dream, but Validus is only controlled by Thorak, so they're kind of trying to figure it out. And they're letting Invisible Kid use his powers because they're afraid of Validus showing up. Superboy, I didn't realize Validus could fly through space.
Neither did I, but Validus is such an otherworldly creature. I will let it go.
Yeah, I will too, because I really like him as a character. I really like what Levitz and Cockrum did with him.
Yeah.
But Superboy is crushed and thrown to Earth. Validus comes in, and all the Legionnaires except for Phantom Girl and they're all zapped. Invisible Kid's not there. They try to battle him. Karate Kid chops his arm, doesn't do anything. Sunboy flashes his eyes, but gets smacked by Validus, and him and Karate Kid are knocked out. Mon-El gets zapped with mental energy, and Invisible Kid is hiding he's invisible in the museum, and he grabs Thorak's eyeball and brain just as Validus comes in, grabs him, crushes the life out of him. Invisible Kid crushes the brain, and Validus leaves.
I love how in the panel where you're seeing Invisible Kid crack Thorak's brain, it's at the same moment Validus snaps his spine in 1,000 pieces.
Yeah, and I also like how they show him as invisible, where they use that kind of zip tone effect.
Mm-hmm.
It looks great, and he flies off, and then Superboy, Phantom Girl, and Mon-El get there. Lyle's dead. And then the ghost shows. Mila goes. Mila, the girl from the invisible world. Not a girl, Mon-El, but a ghost. When I told Lyle what I really was, he couldn't accept the truth. He went into shock and collapsed at your feet. I myself died several years ago, but my spirit form was stranded in this dimensional realm Lyle discovered when he became invisible. I love him, but I had to tell him I wasn't among the living. She's fading away. I know Lyle was very dear to you all, but don't mourn for him. I'll take care of him. And then they're happy for Lyle that he's married in death.
Yeah.
So this is an important issue because I can imagine just freaking out because Lyle was an important Legionnaire. I mean, he did a lot.
Yeah, and he's one of the oldest members of the team.
Yeah.
I think, 6 or 7 to join.
Yeah, he was very early in the team to join. I find it absolutely... I remember when I was a kid, I really liked it. I've always thought it was a good issue. I don't think it's really as good as I remember. It was okay. It's a little simple. The Ghost Girl, it's just got late 60s, early 70s comic book logic.
It does, and I think the Ghost Girl aspect is kind of the weakest for me.
Yeah.
Because I think, it's like we just said, he's one of the oldest Legionnaires. His death is gonna have pathos to it, regardless. Especially because this is only, the second death? Third, if you count the Triplicate Girl death of one of her bodies? So, again, Ross, you can speak to this more, but it's like, in 1974, they didn't kill characters off like they do nowadays.
No, there's no reason to, and you're not putting it on the cover. It's basically Carrie's getting someone with... He's thinning the herd. Well, he's invisible powers. It doesn't really... And I think they wanted to do a death to show, because we've seen one. And Paralab was only a member for, a year?
If that, yeah.
If that. But I think it doesn't do you any good unless it hurts. So it's got to be someone popular.
Yep.
So I think it was fun. But these were all fun. What's coming up is there's a lot of these one and done stories coming up, and I was thumbing ahead, and some of them I used to remember were great, and some are other. The one great thing is the grill art is just through the roof.
Oh yeah, regardless of some of the stories that you'll probably talk about, maybe I'll talk about too. It depends. Again, Grill's art will carry me through a lot of
Yeah, I think you're right. I really enjoy it. These are fun, and that's why I'm doing a couple. And as I look ahead, I'm going to kind of look at the page counts, because one of these was a full length. And last issue, sometimes you've got two short stories in a book, and others you got a long one. Like the next one, 204, has the Legionnaire Nobody Remembered and Brainiac's Secret Weakness, which is
Supergirl?
Well, Supergirl, of course. And then we jump to... I wish they had the whole 100-page Giants, because this is 205 was first place I ever read Surprise and Mysterious.
Gotcha. 205, by the way, was the last issue I needed for my Legion run, from Superboy 170 whatever through Justice League versus Legion of Superheroes.
Wow, how much did that run you? Because it's a 100-page Giant. Those are great.
Like $5.
Oh, that's not bad. They're great. But also in that one is the Cockrum and Swan Lore of the Legion, where you got some of those things that end up on Slurpee cups.
That blows my mind.
That's 206.
Legion was on Slurpee cups?
Yeah.
This is news to me.
Oh, yeah. Lightning Lad. Cosmic Boy, Saturn Girl.
I'm sorry for being born in 1990.
Oh, yeah. It's all the Cockrum art. The Hawkeye in the Marvel one is Cockrum from Giant Size Avengers 3. The one he comes back and they kill off Swordsman.
Oh.
Yep, it's Cockrum art, man. Billy sent me a picture. Of the Ted Knight Slurpee cup?
Oh, I'll have to find that.
I have it. I have one.
Okay, sorry, folks. I just gotta Google this real quick. Legion Slurpee cup.
Yeah. I would love to get more of them. There's a Doc Fate one.
Ross, you can't.
They're not that expensive. They're not that expensive. They're really not that expensive. Some of them aren't.
Okay, but at the same time, I'm like, man, do I need another rabbit hole of collecting to go down? Probably. Superheroes Slurpee cup. Okay. Holy man. Okay. Fighting urge to start collecting. Fighting urge to start collecting.
No. I'm sorry about that, dude. I'm sorry. Not really. A little sorry. It's an accident. Well, I only have the one, and I've got an addiction. I'm pausing on Omnis until, I can't, because December 31st, Micronauts 3 and the second DC Marvel. The DC Marvel one, I'm really concerned about getting it. I think one, they had to trash some of them.
Yeah.
That's why the second one is late.
Yeah.
They probably cut their print run.
Mm-hmm.
They're insured. I mean, when they have to pulp something, they have insurance. They better have
Right.
insurance. But I was very happy with the first one.
I've only read the first.
Oh, you got it? Oh, I didn't know you got it.
Oh yeah. I'm like, because in my head it's like, I better get it just in case, because you never know what's going to happen.
You never know when it's going to be licensed again. So these were fun. So the next will be 203, 204, 205, and I'm going to go on from there. I would like to do it more regularly. So Kirby, I'm probably going to ask you to maybe step up, and maybe we can get Jimbo in to do some too.
Oh, absolutely.
I'd like to do at least do one a month or one every 2 months to get this back up and going.
Yeah.
That Defender. So Billy's going to do some Defenders with me, but I would like to do more of these so I can get ahead, because I have not done a reread in a long time. This when I started it, folks, was my reread, and I've been doing this podcast now for 3 years, 2 years, 2.5 years, a while. I mean, I've done 84 of these episodes. I want to be ahead. I do want to continue with this, and I've never done X-Men, and I've started to plan out to how I'm going to cover X-Men, because I think X-Men, if you're doing a superhero team podcast, I got to do it. I just have to. I don't know how I want to do it, so it may be different. But how I do it, I may jump around. I don't know, but I want to get back with the Legion in order and the Defenders and do them at least 10 to 12 times a year each.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Or maybe 6. I don't know. I got to figure it out.
Yeah,
Defenders, I'm doing 4 issues, so that could be later. But I want it, and there's an open invitation. And followers, if you're a Legion fan, I know I have. I'm still working on a Starboy episode with a guest. He's in another country, and we're having a hard time getting in sync. But that's coming up, and me and Kirby are going to do a Legion roll call. Original Legion roll call. And then I'm going to have to find somebody who knows what the 5 years later roll call is, because I want to do the bit in between, which is very confusing, because Giffen thought he was being smart by just dropping hints. It's like, no, you're triggering me.
And unless Ross just wants an episode where Kirby gets drunk and says what he really thinks about 5 years later, I won't be on that episode.
Yeah, I'm not. No. There's going to be some rough stuff. I didn't realize I read a Christmas comic, and I talked about it on the podcast I just recorded, and I hate to say, I didn't recognize the guy, but he drew a bunch of 5 year later stuff.
Okay.
Toward the end, and that's probably why I don't remember it. Because the end of it, I lost me. I bought it, and I had it, but I'm a big fan of like Volume 1 of 5 years later. It loses me when they say no to something, and Giffen does what comic artists do or writers do. They get indignant instead of going, well, I have to think of something different. That bugs me, and that's on the writer. That's not on the publisher. These are someone else's toys.
Yep.
You know, he did a lot to him that I was surprised DC said yes to.
They lose me at issue 3 or 4.
Oh no,
5 years.
I like that. I like Kirby science fiction. I like not Kirby, Giffen's cosmic stuff.
Normally I do too. He just needed another writing partner besides the beer bombs. He needed someone to smack him on the nose and go, no.
Beer bombs aren't doing the first 10 or so.
They're there the whole way.
Oh, I'm gonna have to see. I haven't reread it in a long time, so we'll see. Maybe it'll change my mind. I don't know. I do love that era of his art, and I do like there are some single issues. They may have upset me, like killing Block, but it had to cost something. And I do like the Matter Eater Lad stuff.
The Matter Eater Lad is the best part of 5 years later. Folks, I try to give at least one positive. If I'm crapping on something, that's my positive.
Yeah,
I do like Tenzil.
He's the one they made because he writes good comedy.
Yeah.
Because I just didn't know it was the Starboy. I was doing the Starman, the Will Payton. I just did it this week. But the first issue was a fill-in, Peter David and Giffen writing it.
Oh yeah, there's JLI guys in it.
I've forgotten about the JLI thing. I got to read. See, I've read so many comics. I think my brain is going, dude, we can't store it all anymore. So, because this is coming out today, I'm going to edit this. I have a Gallifrey's Most Wanted to finish editing and drop, and then this is going to drop sometime tonight on the 22nd of December. So I will ask for a single recommendation of something. Mine is going to be. I hadn't thought about this because I was thinking this was later. I've been reading the All In, and I wanted to do another one. I read the question number 1. I was very intrigued. She's the sheriff of the Watchtower, and her deputies are 2 Blue Beetles, and her ex-girlfriend Batwoman.
The first 2 issues have been really good.
I haven't seen. See, I've only read the first one because I'm on.
Yeah, I won't say any more. But second issue I think continues. And one thing I noticed, and this is in the second. So like you said, question, 2 Blue Beetles, and Nightshade shows up. So it's very Ditko character heavy, or Ditko related heavy.
Yeah, I'm all on board. I've really liked everything. So what would your recommendation be?
Okay, so I just saw this movie last night, The Lord of the Rings, The War of the Rohirrim. So this was like a 2.5-hour animated Lord of the Rings movie in theaters. The short version is it takes place about 200 years before The Hobbit, and just tells the story of a civil war going on in the country of Rohan, with the princess of Rohan being your central character. We get the origin of the name Helm's Deep. Is not hokey. It feels very much like a great fantasy novel that you pick up, and it's technically lower stakes because the Middle Earth is not going to be destroyed by the end of this movie, but sometimes being a lower stakes, quote unquote, really makes it a lot more personal. It's a very tightly written movie, even at 2.5 hours. I would highly recommend it.
All right, then I was interested in it. I thought it was just going to be direct to video. It was direct to streaming. I'm interested, and now that you said smaller stakes, because I just did a Doctor Who podcast and I made the comment, and this is what bugs me about modern comics, modern films, modern TV is, especially science fiction, is we're saving the universe, we're saving the galaxy, we're saving the planet, save the town.
Exactly, and that's what this is.
Save the community, save the ship, something small. Smaller stakes are sometimes, it allows you to cut down the number of characters, make it impersonal, and feel it. So that really intrigues me. Well, yep. That's great. Well, folks, hey, I'm recording shit way out of order. So this is dropping on the 22nd. There is a Christmas episode dropping on Christmas Eve, which I will edit, which me and Kirby did something very Legion, and which is in one of those hardbacks we were just talking about. It is where it goes in those hardcovers. The Jerry Conway era is pretty much all collected in 3.5 hardcovers. So a lot of stuff's coming out. We're gonna finish this, and we're gonna hang up so we can create a new recording, and then we're gonna do a New Year's special. I kind of sprung this on Kirby a few days ago, and then I didn't give him the rules all at front. So we'll see what happens, and I'm gonna throw a couple things at him when we record it. So I hope you listen to that on New Year's Day, and then there will be a pause in Starman until I can figure something out, because the next 4 things are all things I need Dave Steele for. Because it's a Times Past, an annual, which is basically a freaking Times Past, and a Talking to David. So, and then I have to schedule another big thing that me and Kirby and some others have been talking about. So, folks, as always, be safe, be smart. Please be kind to another one, and read some comics. Read some Legion of Superheroes.
Bye, everybody.